You're probably an expert at multitasking. You can get 4 different things done at once without even breaking a sweat. You're a high performance machine, right? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, when you think you're getting all these different things done at once, you're actually not doing anything at all. I'm the same way. I'm the type A overachiever who needs to feel like I'm being productive every waking second of my day, all right? And I get this weird, warm, fuzzy feeling inside when I feel like I'm outworking everybody else around me. But I promise you, as soon as I stopped trying to multitask and just focused on doing one specific thing at a time, I felt so much clearer throughout the day. How often do you feel stressed or anxious when you're working, right? Like that jittery feeling that just engulfs you and makes your brain feel like it's having a spasm the whole time. And you just push through it, right? Because you think it's normal for some reason and you just keep on working. Well, if you keep watching this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly how you can mitigate this feeling by strategically delegating your mental resources to individual tasks rather than spreading yourself thin trying to do everything at once. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I multitask all the time. I'm actually pretty good at it. Well, I got news for you. Multitasking, and by the way, I'm gonna keep using air quotes because it doesn't actually exist. We're physically incapable of focusing on multiple things at the same time, all right? Trying to fragment the brain's attention just makes you less efficient. There are multiple types of multitasking, all right? Now, physical multitasking, all right, I'm done with the air quotes. An example of physical multitasking would be trying to like watch a movie while you're reading an article on your iPad or responding to a text message while, I don't know, watching this video. Did I get you? You son of a bitch. This one's really good. How many of you think that you can have a conversation with someone in person while you're texting somebody else, huh? Because you're not. And all you're doing when you do this, you're just annoying people. Like just last week, I'm in my friend's basement and I'm having a conversation with him. Well, I'm trying to have a conversation with him. I notice he starts like scrolling, like text messages, Snapchat, whatever. And the more I talk, the more I notice he is less and less receptive. And he's just not even listening to me anymore. To the point I have to start saying his name a few times. And he finally just looks up and he's like, huh? What? Huh? Dude, it just annoyed me so much. It was like he didn't even realize I was standing there. So I start over. I start talking to him again, and just his attention just sort of gradually shifts, and he's like just fully engaged back in his phone. Dude, I just left. I just walked away and left his house, and I walked home naked. You can't consciously focus on multiple things at the same time if it requires any sort of real mental effort. Driving and talking to someone at the same time, that's fine because you're pretty much on autopilot when you're driving. Like you don't need to focus on, yeah, it would be ideal if you focused on the road while you were driving, because you could die. But at the end of the day, you're not expending any like cognitive resources. It's just kind of as built into you as like pooping. But if you're trying to do 2, even 3 tasks at once that require any level of comprehension, you just can't. Like there is no trying, there's no that it's hard, you just can't do it. Then there's cognitive multitasking. It's when your brain is thinking about all these different things at once, but it can't choose which one to focus on. This is what makes physical multitasking so impossible in the first place, right? Like say you're trying to sit down to do some work, but you're worrying about whether or not you left the stove on. And this sort of cognitive overload is exactly what makes you have that jittery feeling in the first place, right? You get overstimulated, trying to do all these different things at once, and your brain just starts spasming, and then you have a stroke. Sorry. The worst is when our brains try to multitask without us even meaning to. The more things that are in your line of sight, the more stimulated you are. Like literally, something as trivial as having a messy work area can be enough to overwhelm you. So, dude, like literally, clean your room. I can't tell you how many times I'd be sitting in a messy workspace, like just feeling overwhelmed, whatever, and then I turn around and just clean it up. I feel so much better. I don't know what it is, but like this goes with everything, right? Like if on your desktop, you have 100 different items, just put them all into a folder, dude, like one single folder. You want your desktop to be empty. And dude, Jesus, don't have 100 different tabs open on Google Chrome, all right? Like I'm a victim of this myself. I'll be like watching a YouTube video and then I'll pause it and go do some research on whatever he's talking about, and that'll lead me to an article here. They'll recommend me a book to go buy on Amazon, and before I know it, I have 16 tabs open on Google Chrome, and it's crapping out. So just do yourselves a favor, guys. Stick to one tab, okay? So if you're in this boat where you think you're good at multitasking, I have news for you. You are slowing yourself down. It would be so much more efficient if you just stopped and focused on one thing you need to do and just do it. Just unitask instead, all right? Can you guess what unitasking is? Yeah, it's doing one thing at a time. If you have 3 hours and you have 3 things that you have to focus on, which do you think is gonna be better? Do you think it's gonna be spending those 3 hours juggling all these different things at once, or maybe just spending 1 hour on each individual item? Although I still don't think it's very conducive to like a true flow state, I am aware there are jobs that sort of require this level of cognitive overload, right? Where like multitasking almost is the job itself. But there's a solution to this too, because like I said, the problem isn't the multitasking itself, it's what it does to the brain. This is where that jittery feeling really starts to come in, and instead of doing anything about it, you just accept it and just force yourself through the pain for the next 4 hours. One example of this is air traffic controllers, right? Because they're looking at a bunch of different monitors at the same time, paying attention to a bunch of different flights, so they are very overstimulated. You know, remember Jane's dad in Breaking Bad? I think we all do. Every 60 to 90 minutes, they have to take a 15-minute break and just sort of reset, right? Like go for a walk, listen to some music, exercise, just anything to recover their resources a little bit so they can come back fresh. So if you're in an environment where this type of work is required, just take a 10 to 15 minute break every hour or two. And I know that you, again, might be this peak performer who wants to be working like every second, but here's the thing. Doing this is what will allow you to outwork everyone throughout the day, because no one's taking the time to pay attention to their cognitive resources like this, right? Like no one's going out and recovering or going on walks or exercising because it's stupid, right? But if you do this, if you put effort on actually recovering and resetting like no one else is, you're gonna be so much more productive with the work you're doing, because they're just kind of diminishing their own brain power throughout the day, and the work they're doing just becomes less and less valuable where you're on top of it the entire time. But if you're in a line of work where you don't necessarily need to do 10 different things at once, don't do 10 different things at once. Focus your attention on a single task until it's finished, because you're not only gonna get more work done, you're gonna feel a lot less stressed. All this excess stimulation, it stops you from getting into a flow state, to getting to your highest level of productivity that we really wanna get into. But here's what people don't realize. If you pull your attention away from something that you're doing and look at something else that's equally as stimulating or even remotely more stimulating, it takes a minimum of 20 minutes to get back to the level of focus that you just stopped at. My friend was telling me that he wanted to get an Apple Watch, and funny enough, it's actually my friend who was ignoring me before. I begged him not to get it. I told him how horrible smartwatches are for focus, and you know what his argument was? That because it's just on his wrist and he can just check it and then quickly go back to work, it's a lot better than having a phone, right? Because he doesn't have to like take out his phone and scroll, like it's just there. Like he can just look at it whenever he wants, right? No, that is the furthest thing from the truth, right? Let's start with the baseline why. Every time you look at a text on your phone, you are just overstimulating your brain to a level you don't even realize, because now you're thinking about all these other messages. You're thinking about all your notifications. So now you go back to do that other work. You are not as focused as you think you are, dude. It takes at least, again, 20 minutes to even get close to that state that you were at before you checked your notifications. And I'm not exaggerating here. If you even look at these for a second, it has that profound an effect. But I'm kind of lucky because I don't really have any friends, so I don't get a lot of notifications. So now let's take that to a smartwatch, right? Because now literally a part of your body is glowing every time someone reaches out to you. I don't think you realize the amount of dopamine that your brain receives just from getting a notification, no matter what it is. I have felt a rush from getting notifications from Target telling me they have an exclusive offer for Target Rewards members. I'm not a Target Rewards member. There's just something about our biology that makes a notification elicit this insane dopamine overwhelming rush that we can't even help. So imagine it's a text message or an Instagram notification. Imagine what that does to distract you and derail you from whatever it is you're currently trying to do. That if you so much as even glance at a text message while you're working, you're completely knocked out of your workflow. So there's also other areas of your life besides work where multitasking is a problem. Like I said, when you're having a face-to-face conversation with someone, just get off your phone. Please, I swear, like this attempts to multitask and be on your phone all the time, it's ruining relationships. You're literally placing a wedge between yourself and someone who just wants to have a conversation with you. So just put your phone away, dude. Socialize. And again, clean your room. Clear your desktop. Stop having all the Google tabs open. It's just to make you feel a lot less stressed while you're doing this work. Just try to implement this wherever it's applicable in your life. Like whether it's work, whether it's in your day-to-day, you'll just be a lot more focused and able to pay attention to certain things. Because that's the other thing, like everyone thinks they have a bad attention span, but if you actually work on your attention, you can get it back. Like you can recover it, even if you think you lost it because of your TikTok addiction or something. Anyways, I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know any other topics that you'd like me to talk about, and please subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you'd like to see some of my other content. I really get excited making these kinds of videos, and I hope it's helping you make your life a little bit better, be more focused, get more work done, and I just like churning out these videos. It's all things I'm still learning myself and that have helped me in my own life. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.